Whoops, that's Kung Fu, not karate. And I'll stop, don't worry. Welcome to my series of Karate Kid reviews. I'm going to be reviewing all the Karate Kid movies and Cobra Kai leading up to Karate Kid Legends coming out in May. I do this from time to time. When there's a new movie in a series coming out, I will review the previous movies in that series leading up to the new one that is coming out in theaters, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here with Karate Kid. I figured it's a slow-ass movie season here in January. There's nothing really of interest all that much coming out, so let's just get started talking about The Karate Kid, which was released in 1984, directed by John G. Avildsen. It stars Noriyuki Pat Morita and Ralph Macchio. And I can see why Karate Kid is deemed a classic for a lot of people. You can even argue that The Karate Kid is to karate what Rocky was to boxing, you know? It has a very similar kind of tone to it that Rocky does. And I guess that's really, let's just get this out of the way first. I guess that's really to the film's detriment for me. I mean, I think that's actually kind of a negative for Karate Kid because it is directed by John G. Avildsen. The musical score is composed by Bill Conti. That man does not get enough credit for his musical scores. Like that score in Rocky, that theme is awesome. The theme here in Karate Kid is awesome. It is uplifting yet very fast-paced, energetic themes to get your blood flowing while also mixing in Japanese flutes from time to time in scenes with Miyagi that require a bit more emotion. The man was a legend. But take those two factors here, John G. Avildsen and Bill Conti, two people that worked on Rocky. And when you look at this movie compared to Rocky, it feels very similar because it's not necessarily just a bunch of karate matches, just like how Rocky wasn't just a bunch of boxing matches or Rocky making his way through the ranks and up to the top to fight Apollo Creed. This isn't like that. Rocky wasn't like that. And that was one thing that when I first saw Rocky, I really didn't understand. I was like, where's the boxing? I thought I was watching a boxing movie, not a character drama. And when I had seen Karate Kid for the first time a few years ago, I had that same mindset. Now that's not me saying that I dislike Rocky because I really do appreciate Rocky now. I understand that it is a character drama first, the boxing comes second. The boxing match with Apollo Creed is the payoff that you get for that character drama, but it's a drama that is fleshing out its characters. And Karate Kid essentially does the same thing. It's not necessarily about the karate. There's more at stake here. There's more character drama here. And I really didn't understand that with Karate Kid because Karate Kid came out almost a decade after Rocky. So I was like, okay, they could do a little bit more. Maybe there will be more karate matches. But when you really think about it, it's really only that one karate match between Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence at the end. And the rest of it is a character drama, just like Rocky. So I think to the film's detriment, it takes too much inspiration from Rocky. But I think what also helps the film is that you have a kid here who is played magnificently by Ralph Macchio, and we can talk about Daniel LaRusso because Daniel LaRusso is a kid who's just moving from the East Coast to the West Coast. His mother's a single mother who took on a new job. They had to move to Rosita, California. He's being bullied in school, so you have sympathy for him, but he's also a bit of a troublemaker. He runs into Johnny Lawrence, who is his bully. Johnny Lawrence is not the most fleshed out character here, but they do a really good job as to making you hate Johnny Lawrence in this movie. Whereas in Cobra Kai, the show, it really gives you Johnny Lawrence's perspective. Of course, like, Cobra Kai is kind of a compliment to these movies. Like, you didn't have Cobra Kai back then to help flesh out more of these characters like you do today, where Johnny Lawrence is essentially the main character of Cobra Kai. But there's enough here where you can actually despise him, but then also see his side later on when you do watch Cobra Kai and you understand, oh, okay, that's why that was happening. But if we're talking about bullies here, I think Daniel LaRusso is as much of a bully to Johnny Lawrence as Johnny Lawrence is to Daniel LaRusso. And they make for some really good characters here. Mr. Miyagi, one of the best characters ever in pop culture. I just want to go up to this man and give him a hug. He is full of wisdom, spirits, and he's just so humble, you know? Don't you wish we had more people like that in this world? I sure as hell do. And I really like how they play up Mr. Miyagi in this movie. His introduction in this movie is that he's the handyman at Daniel's apartment that he lives in Rosita, California. LaRusso doesn't know that he's this humble karate master full of wisdom and teachings that he'll eventually teach LaRusso. Daniel LaRusso doesn't know that yet. It's not until Johnny Lawrence and his goons bully Daniel outside of his apartment where Mr. Miyagi comes to his rescue, and you're like, oh shit, he knows karate. Also, this man has a sense of humor, and it makes Mr. Miyagi that much more entertaining to watch. But it does a really smart thing too, where it actually gives a backstory to Mr. Miyagi's life in Okinawa, that he was a married man once. Now, they could have went down a completely predictable path. Could have been like, oh, they died in a car crash or they had cancer or something, but you don't really see the weight. I feel like the weight of those situations wouldn't hit as hard as Mr. Miyagi's wife and son dying at childbirth, because I don't think dying at childbirth is done that much in movies anymore. That has more weight to it as to why sometimes Mr. Miyagi drinks a little bit too much. It's things like that. And then you have the main villain of the movie as well, John Kreese. This movie has the perfect introduction for a villain like that. The movie shows you, it doesn't tell you anything about John Kreese. The moment LaRusso steps into that Cobra Kai dojo for the first time, you know everything about John Kreese as a villain mere moments before his introductory scene into the movie. The moment LaRusso walks into that dojo, you see pictures of Kreese from the Vietnam War. You see trophies hanging on the wall. You see different types of mottos, his mottos that he lives by. So you know exactly the type of person that Kreese is even before he's introduced on screen. And when he just gets introduced on screen, it's even more menacing and villainy, and he's a big slime ball, and he's even more of a slime ball in Cobra Kai. And yeah, I don't like this man. He's awful. He thinks too highly of himself. He thinks that the world shouldn't be full of mercy.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that? No, Sensei? No mercy.
The way he teaches karate is very different from the way Mr. Miyagi teaches karate, and that's really kind of a cool way that the movie has two different philosophical viewpoints. It actually does a really good job of having themes about standing up to your bullies and standing up for what you believe in, but also doing it in a way that isn't considered too violent, I guess, because Kreese's way at Cobra Kai, strike hard, strike first, no mercy. Probably would be normal today in the world that we live in, because people take everything so seriously now, and we have crazy people all across the country, including a big one very soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened today. But at the same time, back then, it was a nice message to teach kids, where it's like, okay, here's this viewpoint of this person's view of karate, and how he would train people as if they're in the military, as if they are going to war against their opponent. And then here's this, more of a pacifist kind of thing, a thing of self-defense. Don't strike unless you're provoked. And Mr. Miyagi's way of teaching this is awesome, because he has these types of chores that he has Daniel LaRusso do, and LaRusso's like, okay, man, like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, why am I painting your fence? Why am I washing your car? But it's all for muscle memory. That is the way Miyagi teaches, and he teaches defense. So it's cool to see two different types of philosophies, even if one is morally unjust and the other is probably what they should teach in karate, even though I think the world's moving towards what Kreese is teaching now in this movie in karate. And then it just has those themes of standing up for yourself and standing up to your bullies. And I think that that's maybe why Karate Kid has resonated so much, because people are bullied every day. And knowing that there are people out there to help you, that you can have self-defense, that you can actually stand up to your bullies and be like, oh yeah, you think you're so tough? Well, look at me now. I think that that's actually a pretty cool message for kids. I love the montage of Daniel going through the tournament at the end, and he has to fight Johnny Lawrence, and then he does the crane kick to beat Johnny Lawrence, and Kreese is pissed off, and all that stuff. And the Karate Kid, I understand the impact that it has. I do think it is a bit too much like Rocky. But the karate sequences are awesome. It's a nice little character drama that fleshes out its characters. I think it has great themes and the two different philosophies of karate, this militaristic style and this style of self defense and calmness, I think are captured really well on screen and really present one antagonistic way and one protagonistic way to handle things. And it really teaches you what's right and what's wrong. And Karate Kid is always going to be a classic. I'm going to give the Karate Kid an A. Really looking forward to talking more about these movies. I think that they are really good. And I really am looking forward to talking more about these movies and Cobra Kai. I'm in the middle of binging Cobra Kai right now. This is kind of a big reason why I'm starting to review the Karate Kid movies leading up to Karate Kid Legends. But I knew that Karate Kid Legends was coming out anyway. So if I couldn't get to Cobra Kai, it's at least going to be my plan. But I am knee deep in Cobra Kai now. So I feel like I have to talk about it. I won't talk about it season by season. But when the time comes, when those final 6 episodes or final 5 episodes, whatever it may be, are released in February, I'm having a Cobra Kai video for you guys. So, yeah, I'm knee deep in that show. So, if you have seen The Karate Kid, how have you not? Let me know what you think of it in the comments section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.